doesn't know that we had a preview of the YouTube video yet.
Yeah,
I was
looking
dancing
awfully.
around my living room, Jay.
Your worship, we are recording and ready to commence the meeting.
Thank you very much. We are now recording and live streaming. We'll call the meeting to order at 6:01 p.m. This public public meeting is being held by electronic participation pursuant to the municipality's procedural bylaw number 2020-020 as amended and section 238 3.1 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. The meeting will be live streamed on the municipality's meeting portal and YouTube channel. The video recording will be uploaded to the municipality of Trent Hill's website following the meeting. And I would just ask, we have some public joining us, and I would ask you to keep your video off until your section of the meeting comes up. It helps as far as the our broadband goes. We'll go to the approval of the agenda. It is recommended that the agenda for the public hearing, public meeting of February the 9th, 2021 be received and approved. I get a mover and seconder, please. Moved by Ken. Seconded by Rick. Would you call the vote, please, Doug?
Councillor Tully,
Yes.
Councillor Bratney,
Yes.
Councillor English,
Yes.
Councillor Kelleher McLennan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Metcalf,
Yes.
Councillor Redden,
Yes,
Mayor Crate,
Yes,
carried by 7, your worship.
thank you. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Ask Mike, would you state yours, please, Mike?
I have to declare for item 4A as I'm part owner of that property.
Thank you. So noted. So we're at public hearings, public meetings. These public hearings and public meeting are being held in accordance with provisions of the Planning Act. The purpose of the meeting is for council members to formally hear and receive public and agency comments. The intent of this statutory public hearing and public meeting is to receive public feedback and incorporate it into the recommendation report for staff. No decisions will be made during this meeting. Please be advised this meeting is being recorded for the purposes of the creation of a public record. Any property owner may file an application under the Planning Act relating to their property. The purpose of the public process in filing an application is to determine if the proposal is supported by local and provincial land use policies. The process also seeks public input in order to determine if any issues identified have been or can be addressed. The applicants or agents will be given an opportunity to speak on behalf of their submissions and to respond to questions arising from the discussion of their application. Interested members of the public will be given an opportunity to speak in favor or in opposition to the application being dealt with at this hearing. All persons addressing council must state their full name and address and must direct their comments through the chair. Any information you provide at a public hearing, a public meeting may be disclosed in a public record. If you miss the live meeting, have technical issues, or prefer to submit comments following the public hearing, you may email your comments to planning@trenthills.ca, all lowercase. The municipality requires these comments no later than 7 days after this meeting to ensure the comments can be reviewed by planning staff prior to preparing a final recommendation report to be heard at a future council meeting. Any questions on that? Okay. We will go to 4A. So Michael will turn off his camera. Jay will turn his on. Thank you. So this is severance consent application B04-2021 and zoning amendment application C02-2021. Jason McGill and Michael Metcalf, 6001 County Road 25, Concession 11, part of Lot 4, former Township of Percy. Jim, no, I believe,
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to speak and Sadie's going to show the slides.
okay, that's great. Thank you.
So as you noted, severance consent application B04 2021 and zoning amendment application C02 2021 by Jason McGill and Michael Metcalf. Lands in concession 11, part of lot 14, 6001 County Road 25 in the former township of Percy. So the purpose of the application is to create one new parcel being approximately 5.25 acres, and it will be vacant land. And that's coming off 16.9 acres. The retained portion will be 11.65 after the severance, and it contains the existing residential dwelling and outbuilding. Accompanying this application is zoning amendment application C02 2021. And the purpose of it is to rezone the property. Subsequent to severance consent application B04 2021, the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to recognize the creation of one new parcel, being the severed portion of 5.25 acres of vacant land. Current zoning on the subject lands is rural, environmental protection, and environmentally sensitive. The proposed zoning for the severed portion will be rural residential, environmental protection, and environmentally sensitive. Proposed zoning for the retained portion being approximately 11.65 acres with the existing residential dwelling and outbuilding will be rural exception, environmental protection, and environmentally sensitive. The exception to the rural zoning will acknowledge the reduced lot size within the rural zone, and all the environmental protection and environmentally sensitive zoning will remain in place. So the official plan designations are rural and greenlands, combination of those two designations. Current zoning, as noted, rural, environmental protection, and environmentally sensitive. Comments were received by Northumberland County and Lower Trent Conservation, and those were part of your package. You would see from those that a hydrologic impact assessment was done for the property, submitted to the municipality and the Conservation Authority. And based on that, the application can be supported. It does protect the environmentally sensitive lands, but it also allows for an area where future development can occur on the severed portion. Those are all the comments and reports, Your Worship.
Thank you very much. Jay, do you have anything to add to this submission?
No, everything seems straightforward there.
Great, thank you. Does anyone, councilors, have any questions? Gene, your light is on. Do you have a question or just?
No.
Okay, I just see, okay,
What have I got on?
thank you. Is there anyone present on the call that would like to ask a question? Okay. Here, no questions to ask, then that'll be fine. We'll carry on. This is severance consent application B05-2021 and B06-2021 for Stuart at Johnston, 205 Ward Road, Concession 7, part of Lot 10, former Township of Percy. And Jim, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. So as noted, this is an application for two severance consents, B05 and B06 2021 by Stuart Johnston. Lands are in Concession 7, part of Lot 10 at 205 Ward Road in the former Township of Percy. So severance consent application B05 2021 proposes to create one new parcel being approximately 2 acres of vacant land from approximately 16.38 acres. Severance consent application B06 2021 proposes to create one new parcel being approximately 2 acres of vacant land from approximately 16.38 acres. The retained portion, being approximately 12.38 acres, contains the existing residential dwelling and outbuilding. The correct zoning is in place as noted below. All environmental protection and environmentally sensitive zoning will remain in place. A scoped hydrologic evaluation was submitted. It identified the vegetative protection zone which is sufficient width to protect the key hydrologic features from proposed severances or development on those lands. The vegetative protective zone is to remain at a minimum. So you can sort of see this is a map from the study that shows the wetlands and watercourse to be protected, and that there is room outside of the buffers around that to create the two proposed lots. I would note in addition that we did have comments from the manager of planning at Northumberland County and one of the neighboring property owners regarding prime agricultural lands in the area. We show these lands subject to this application in a number of different designations and zones, but we primarily focused on the environmental protection aspect because of the wooded nature and the fact we could identify some of these wetlands. But there are fields and prime agricultural lands in this area. And one of the neighbors commented they have no objection to this. They just want people to be aware that, farming activity is going on in the surrounding area. So we'll be bringing further information forward when this comes before council in the future.
Thank you. Is anyone here? Is Mr. Johnston here?
Yes, sir.
Any further comments, sir?
Nope. I think Jim's done a great job.
Thank you very much. Any members of council wish to ask any questions? Rick?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. These are really nice looking lots for sure. I just had a quick question, Jim. Are you looking at entrance, one coming off of Ward Road and the other one coming off the 8th concession?
That's what I would like to do if we are able to do it that way.
That would be the best way, I think, because the 8th is getting busy, that's for sure. So
I believe that the roads manager was circulated, and I believe that's the approach that we agree with as well.
very well, thank you.
And do we have anyone else present on the call which would like to comment on this application? Fine, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Johnston, for being here. We'll move on now to severance consent application B07 2021 and zoning amendment application C03 2021 for Greg McCracken, 561 Concession Road 9 West, Concession 9, part of lots 5 and 6, former Township of Percy. Jim?
Thank you. Yes, so as noted, Mr. Mayor, severance consent application B07 2021 and zoning amendment application C03 2021 submitted by Greg McCracken, lands in Concession 9, part of lots 5 and 6, 561 Concession Road 9 West, former Township of Percy. The application proposes to create one new parcel being approximately 2.4 acres with the existing residential dwelling and outbuilding, and that's coming off 100.02 acres. The retained portion being approximately 97.62 acres is vacant land and will be eligible for residential development. Zoning amendment application C03, 2021 has been submitted in conjunction with this application. Subsequent to severance consent application B07 2021, the purpose and effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to recognize the creation of one new parcel being the severed portion through severance consent application B07 2021, approximate 2.4 acres in size with the existing residential dwelling and outbuilding. The current zoning of the subject lands is rural environmental protection and environmentally sensitive. The proposed zoning for the severed portion will be rural residential. The proposed zoning for the retained portion will remain rural environmental protection and environmentally sensitive. All environmental protection and environmentally sensitive zoning will remain in place. So the official plan designation of the lands is a combination of rural and green lands. The current zoning is rural environmental protection and environmentally sensitive. Comments were received from the roads manager and from Lower Trent Conservation, and there were no concerns. I will note, I guess, through the roads manager's comments that I believe a new entrance for the retained portion will be required. Those are the comments and reports, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Jim. Is Mr. McCracken with us tonight? I don't see him. The council have any questions? Okay, is there anyone on the, joining us tonight that has any questions on this application? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. We're at Severance Consent Application B08, 2021. Michael Watson, Andrew Gartenburg, 15 Nelson Road, Concession 7, part of Lot 11, former Township of Percy. Jim, please.
Yes. As noted, this is Severance Consent Application B08 2021, Michelle Watson and Andrew Gartenburg. The land's in Concession 7, part of Lot 11 at 15 Nelson Road, in the former Township of Seymour, but part of the urban area of Campbellford. The application proposes to create one new parcel, being approximately 5,928 square feet of vacant land from approximately 32,670 square feet for residential building purposes. Any proposed residential development must be serviced by municipal water and municipal sewer, and that's been reviewed. The retained portion being approximately 26,742 square feet contains an existing residential dwelling. The official plan designation is residential within the Campbellford Urban Center and Greenlands because of proximity to the Trent Canal. And current zoning is residential 1, R1. Comments received from the Manager of Roads and Urban Services and Lower Trent Conservation regarding source water protection. The property is within the source water protection zone, and I believe there in the package to council was the clearance certificate. Roads managers commented that probably when the proposed lot is developed, there'll need to be a yard drain. There's a low area in the southeast corner, so that would be appropriate. And then the existing driveway on the retained portion will need to be modified and lowered, I believe, to the level of the street. He and I went and viewed the property, so there's no issues, and this should be easily dealt with. Those are the reports and comments, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Jim. I see Mr. Gartenburg is with us. Do you have any further comments?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone from council wish to speak to this? Ken?
Yes, I see the comments about water and sewer. Do they pass by the front of this property now, or what's required to hook those up?
Yes, we did check when the inquiries were first made, Your Worship, about this through you to the councillor. So we contacted water and wastewater, and they are confident that services are there and that I believe they go to the existing house now. So that is a requirement and shouldn't be an issue.
Thank you.
Michael?
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, on the mapping, it has a minimum distance there of 4 meters approximately to the closest point of the existing building. What's the minimum setback that we need to be looking at for between that existing building and the property line, the new proposed property line?
Through you, Your Worship, 1.2 meters is the required setback between a dwelling and a property line in the R1 zone.
Thank you.
Yes, I did want to note that the proposed lot does meet the requirements for frontage and area for the R1 zone.
Okay. Any other questions? Are we joined by anyone who would like to ask a question?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
In the script from Lower Trent, they talk about in their risk management blurb, and speaking of whether or not this lot would be valid or not valid, how can they make that statement? I think the people that are going to use this lot fully expect that they can build on it and not be wishy-washy about whether it's valid or not valid. Does anybody explain that verbiage there that come from Lower Trent on this issue?
Through you, your worship. So I think what they're identifying is that in certain situations, let's say this lot was being created of a size and might be supported by a septic system. So within the source water protection zone, then would be subject to certain standards and a risk management plan because that type of system being proposed in that area. That's not the case here. I don't think this will be the case that they'd want to heat with oil, but if they did, then that would necessitate a risk management plan. So I think there are some factors like that that they just want any future property owner to be aware of. So
Okay.
they're highlighting concerns in the policies for people to be aware of, but it should not be an issue going forward.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you very much. We'll move on to severance consent application B09-2021. Steve and Liz Stillman, Ray and Cheryl White, 448 13th line west, 466 13 line west, concession 13, part of lot 4, former township of Seymour. James?
Thank you. As noted, your worship, this is severance consent application B09-2021, Steve and Liz Stillman and Ray and Cheryl White, property in concession 13, part of lot 4, at 448 13th line west and 466 13th line west, former township of Seymour. The application proposes a lot line adjustment, lot addition between two existing properties, approximately 0.75 acres of vacant land will be severed from concession 13, part of lot 4, 448 13th line west. The severed portion will merge to the adjacent lands to the west, 466 13th line west, which currently is 0.7 acres with an existing residential dwelling. Retained portion of concession 13, part of lot 4, 448 13th line west will be retained approximately 98.55 acres, and it has an existing residential dwelling and outbuildings. The official plan designation is prime agricultural and greenlands. Current zoning is agricultural and environmental protection, and 466 rural residential. So as you'll see from the map, which is coming up, it's a lot addition to add some additional acreage to 466 13th line west. Those are the reports and comments, your worship.
Thank you very much. I see that Liz Stillman is with us. Do you have anything to add to this, Liz? No? Okay.
No, I believe that covered everything, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Does council have any questions? Okay, is there anyone present that has joined us would like to ask any questions? Okay, we will carry on. And at this point, I would ask for a motion of adjournment. Moved by Rose, seconded by Kathy. Any discussion? All in favor?
Oh, your worship.
Call the vote, please.
Councillor Kelleher McLennan,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Metcalf,
Yes.
Councillor Redden,
Yes.
Councillor Tully,
Yes.
Councillor Bratney,
Yes.
Councillor English,
Yes.
Mayor Crate.
Yes.
We are adjourned at 6:25, your worship. I will just conclude the